Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back. How are you guys doing on this awesome, epic Monday afternoon? Well, what we have here is a time question submitted by one of our awesome students, Nirvan. Nirvan is soon to be a student at Naparima College after he writes SEA. So let's check this question out. The time on the clock is correct at 8 a.m. The clock loses, so the most important part here is let me just get the pen. The clock loses 5 minutes every hour. What time would the clock show when the correct time is 3 p.m.? Now, you guys know this is probably like my third favorite topic, percentages number one. But you guys know I collect watches, and one of the downsides of analog watches, especially those that you wind or you shake in order to charge them up, the older models, yes, I know you guys are accustomed to digital and LED watches and Apple watches and smartwatches, but way back in my days, 500 years ago, we had analog watches, and this was actually a common occurrence. Like, especially cheaper watches, the time would lose time. It would actually be slower than it was. So let's say, for instance, like you look at your watch and it's 250, and you're thinking it's 250. No, it's actually like 3 o'clock because of the fact that it was moving slower than anticipated. So what we have to do here, so let's break down this question. The time on the clock is correct at 8 a.m. The clock loses 5 minutes every hour. What time will the clock show when the correct time is 3 p.m.? Right? So because it loses, we know that the time that it shows has to be before. Just like I told you guys in the example, I would be there with an analog watch thinking that school is gonna call at 3 o'clock, and like by the time, like I'll look at my watch and be like, yes, we have 10 minutes left of school, but in reality the bell just rang. So the time will be before 3 p.m. So if we get an answer that is 4 p.m., 3:30 p.m., something like that, we know from double checking that that would be incorrect. So the first step is it loses 5 minutes every hour. So we have to figure out how many hours were there from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Right? And I mean, I'm gonna break it down for you guys because remember, this is a training period. So, and I will baby you guys now. So, for instance, 8 to 9, that will be 1 hour. 9 to 10, that will be 1 hour, etc. Right? So, when we add 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12, 12 to 1, 1 to 2, and 2 to 3, that would give us a total of 7 hours. Right? So that's the first step. Right? So in this question, you basically get 1 mark for calculating the amount of hours that went from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And what I would do in my mind would be like 8 to 12 is equal to 4, and 12 to 3 is equal to 3. Add them up, I'll get 7. But again, if you guys have time to double check, you guys could do it one by one. But I just use this method, so 7 hours. Then, once we know this, and guys, this is why those multi-mark questions are kind of tricky. I don't want to say the word scary, because remember, if we get this first part wrong, everything else is going to be wrong too. So, the second thing we have to do is calculate. So, well, this will be for the second mark, is calculate how much time the clock loses. So what did they say? Let's go back to the question. They say the clock loses 5 minutes per hour. So we have 7 hours multiplied by 5 minutes. That will give us 35 minutes lost. Right? And so 1 mark for 7 hours, 1 mark for 35 minutes lost. And the last step, step 3, would just basically be to adjust the correct time. So you guys see, this could be an essay question, or it could be somebody who buys cheap watches question. Because no, when I was younger, I loved watches, but I didn't have a salary because I was still in school. So I had to settle for watches that did this. So this might be an essay question, but it also might be reality. Okay, so at the real time, so add the just by the way, I'm just doing this question off my head. At the real time, 3 p.m., the clock is 35 minutes slow. So therefore, if it is 35 minutes slow, how do we figure it out? So 3:00 p.m. minus 35 minutes, and that will give us 2:25 p.m. So the final answer is it is 2:25 p.m. So the key takeaways here: step 1, figure out how many hours when it was from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. We got 7, and then we look for the variable. What they told us, it loses 5 minutes every hour, so 7 by 5 will give us 35 minutes lost. That'll give you a second marker, and the final marker would be to just adjust for the correct time. So if the correct time is 3 p.m., then that clock that was slower would have lost 35 minutes. So therefore, the correct time would be 2:25 p.m. Nirvan, hope this helps. I know you sent a couple of other questions, so I will do those soon. Most likely by this afternoon. I have Intisai with my Form 1 to Form 3 students, so I might do those as soon as I finish that class. Anyhow, guys, take care and peace.